Okay guys, the busy football season is upon us. The busy period of time where games are coming thick and fast. We are basically seeing football being played every night in the build up to Christmas and then the New Year. So this is going down right now. We are back with another Premier League preview show. So without further ado, let's get into the games. We're going to begin with arguably the round's biggest game, Manchester United versus Arsenal, and the setting is Old Trafford. United were fortunate to come back from 2 goals down this past weekend to draw with Southampton 2-2, whilst Arsenal put in a stunning display against their fierce rivals Tottenham, in which the North London derby was won by the Gunners 4-2. But now Unai Emery's men turn their attention to a game that hasn't always turned out in Arsenal's favour in the past. Can United get back to winning ways, or will Arsenal turn their fortunes around against an underperforming Manchester United side? Looking at this game from form alone, you'd have to think Arsenal are licking their lips at this fixture. United have been poor all season, whilst Arsenal have been a little hit and miss here and there. But when they've been a hit, they've been amazing to watch, and Spurs found that out the hard way on Sunday. The Gunners were missing Granit Xhaka, who's suspended, but regardless, United could be in for a thumping here, and I'm expecting Arsenal to win here, to be honest. I'm predicting 3-1 Arsenal, Aubameyang to continue his good run of form as well as get on the score sheet twice, whilst Martial may score for United. The next game we'll be focusing on contains the current Premier League leaders Manchester City as they travel to Watford as they look to keep up their title defence and put a little bit of pressure on Liverpool, who will not be playing until Wednesday night. City were 3-1 winners against Bournemouth over the weekend, whilst Watford have hit a bit of a sticky spell in recent weeks with no win in their last 4 games, including their latest loss away to Leicester over the weekend, where the Foxes were 2-0 winners. Will Watford get back to winning ways here, or will City continue their dominating performance in the league and maintain their unbeaten start to the season as well as remain top of the table? A City win should be the favourite and likely result here, but you do feel that if City are to ever drop points this season, then it will come likely around about this time, where the games are coming thick and fast and squad rotation is necessary in today's game. Watford are an energetic side and have a couple of decent flair players who are inconsistent, but when they turn up on their day, they can hurt any opposition. But of course, the loss of Etienne Capoue due to the suspension will be a big miss for them. But with all that being said, I still think City will be victorious here. I'm going for a City 3-1 win. Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus to get on the score sheet at some point. Our next game sees potential Premier League contenders Liverpool in action against Burnley at Turf Moor as the Reds look to keep up their unbeaten start to the season. Burnley come into this game on a winless run that stretches to 7 games, and the Clarets have only picked up 2 points during that time, with their latest defeat coming this past weekend when Palace beat them 2-0 to add more misery to the team currently occupying 19th place in the table. Can Sean Dyche's men cause an upset here, or can Liverpool keep up their title pursuit? Looking beyond this game, Liverpool have a tough week ahead of them with a game against Bournemouth on Saturday, a must-win Champions League encounter with Napoli on Tuesday, and then a big game against Manchester United the following Sunday. So I'm expecting a rotated starting 11, but realistically any senior first team Liverpool put out should be capable of winning this game. It ain't a foregone conclusion, and the Reds still need to be cautious and guard against complacency, but I'm predicting Liverpool to win here. I'm going to say 3-0 with Salah scoring 2, and I'm going to predict Naby Keita will not only be starting the game, but will also grab his first Liverpool goal. Our next game sees Chelsea travel to Wolves in what's set to be an interesting game ahead. Wolves' season has come a little undone over recent weeks. Results haven't been going their way, and they find themselves on a run of 6 games without a win, whilst Chelsea bounced back from their defeat to Tottenham last week with a win against Fulham this past Sunday. Will the Blues add to Wolves' misery? This game seems pretty easy to call, and yes, Chelsea should win this game, but Wolves have been tough opposition for the top 6 sides this season. They've already taken points off of City, Manchester United and Arsenal, And they have lost may have lost to Spurs, but they did give them a bit of a scare in the end. So there's definitely a chance in there for them. Regardless, I still think Chelsea will win. I'm going to say 2-0, Hazard and Giroud to get on the score sheet. An interesting game lies ahead at Wembley as Tottenham face managerless Southampton. A 2-2 draw with Manchester United proved to be the final straw for Mark Hughes as Saints boss, as he was sacked just under 48 hours later. And whilst behind the scenes they're searching for a new manager, on the pitch they have Tottenham to contend with, a team that are hurting right now following their North London derby humiliation to Arsenal on Sunday. Will Spurs redeem themselves, or will Southampton begin this new chapter in their club's history with a victory? Before Mark Hughes being sacked, I would have been more confident in predicting a Tottenham win. Now I'm not so sure. I'm still going to predict them winning and redeeming themselves for their poor display on Sunday, but it's not completely out of the question for a managerless team, and by that I mean a temporary replacement in Kelvin Davis taking over and causing a sort of upset. But I would still expect Spurs to win. I'm going to say 3-1 to Tottenham. Heung-min Son, Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen all to score. But like I said, don't be too surprised if the Saints get something out of this game. Our next game sees Claudio Ranieri face his former club Leicester, the club he helped guide to that miracle out of the blue Premier League title win of a few seasons ago. Fulham come off the back of a loss to close rivals Chelsea on Sunday, in which the Blues won 2-0. But despite the result, there were positives in the performance that I'm sure Ranieri will be taking away from that game to build upon. Whilst Leicester were victorious in their last game against Watford, in which Jamie Vardy and James Maddison scored to help the Foxes beat the Hornets 2-0. Will Fulham defeat the Foxes and help their cause for Premier League title survival, or will Leicester condemn Fulham to another defeat at the foot of the table? Whatever the outcome, it's surely set to be an emotional game for Ranieri. Everything that's happened from leading the Foxes to that unbelievable title win a few seasons ago, right up until the tragic plane crash at the end of October, it's going to be a big game for the former Leicester manager. Footballing wise though, a boost for Fulham could be that Jamie Vardy is a doubt for the game. It would seem that Kelechi Iheanacho will be taking his place up front, with James Maddison playing just off of him in a number 10 role. I reckon a 2-2 draw for this game. This result may seem a little out there. This prediction may seem a little out there, but I think Vardy being injured and Fulham under a new manager could mean that Fulham gain something from this game. Alexander Mitrovic, I will also predict to get on the score sheet for the hosts as well. The next game features the Toffees as they host the Magpies as Newcastle travel to Goodison Park to take on Everton, as both sides are looking to bounce back from weekend defeats. Everton suffered a last-minute defeat in the Merseyside derby against Liverpool, whilst Newcastle saw their mini-winning run come to an end at the hands of West Ham. Are one of these sides going to bounce back from their defeat here, or will both sides cancel each other out? Everton will feel unlucky not to have got anything from their game against Liverpool at the weekend and will be looking to redeem themselves here, whilst Newcastle will want to redeem themselves and help aid their battle against the relegation zone. It's going to be a tough fixture for both. I cannot imagine Everton will go through this game without receiving a threat from Rafa Benitez's side, and if the Magpies begin to take their chances, not just in this game but in future games as well, they can challenge most teams in the division. It's a tough game to call, and it may not be a popular choice, but I think a Derby Day hangover may cause the Toffees to drop points here. I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and say a 1-1 draw. Again, I could be wrong, and I think I will be wrong when the results come in, but my gut instinct is telling me Newcastle will take something from this game. The next game is at the London Stadium as that place hosts to West Ham versus Cardiff in what's set to be an interesting game ahead. Javier Hernandez and Felipe Anderson both scored in West Ham's 3-0 win over Newcastle over the weekend, whilst Friday night saw Cardiff come back from a goal down to beat Wolves 2-1 thanks to goals from Aaron Gunnarsson and Junior Hoilett. Cardiff have been showing plenty of fight in recent weeks as they continue to try and steer clear of relegation, whilst West Ham have been rather hit and miss for most of this season. Which West Ham side will turn up here, and will Cardiff record another victory here to help them towards Premier League survival? Hammers beat a very poor Newcastle side at the weekend, whilst Cardiff showed a lot of fight and character to beat Wolves, thanks to a stunning goal from Junior Hoilett. Manuel Pellegrini's side need to find some form of consistency that's been eluding them all season, and Neil Warnock's side are just taking each game as it comes. I think West Ham will be victorious here 2-1. I just think West Ham are just a little bit more clinical in front of goal and defensively are a little bit stronger. But I still wouldn't be surprised if this game was to end up in a draw. But I think the Hammers will just about edge it, with Anderson once again finding the back of the net. Our next game sees 9th meet 17th as Bournemouth take on Huddersfield at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth's season has had a bit of a sticky patch in recent weeks, no winning since the end of October in the Premier League, and that includes a run of being on the wrong end of 2-1 results, and added to that is last week's defeat to Manchester City 3-1. It's been a tough run for Eddie Howe's side, whilst Huddersfield have enjoyed a better spell in recent weeks, but that came to a halt with a 2-1 loss to Brighton over the weekend. Will Bournemouth return to winning ways against the Terriers here, or will Huddersfield extend Bournemouth's winless run and help boost their own relegation fight? Big game for both sides. The Cherries are favourites to win here and go back to winning ways, but with the games now coming thick and fast, these kind of fixtures can see some strange results occur. Regardless, I think with the tough run, excluding the Newcastle game, which was just a slight out of the blue result itself, they've had their eyes on this game for a while, I believe. Huddersfield will be tough opposition with their work rate and desire, but Bournemouth just have extra quality in every area that should see them edge out the Terriers here. My prediction is Bournemouth to win 2-0 with Callum Wilson scoring a brace. The final game we're going to look at this week contains two teams that were both victorious at the weekend. Crystal Palace were 2-0 winners over Burnley at the weekend in a game that Palace dominated, whilst Brighton come into this game after beating Huddersfield 2-1 in a game they came from behind to win. A win for Brighton here could see them enter the top half of the table, whilst Palace will be looking for 3 more points that could take them further away from a possible relegation scrap. Who's going to come away from this game with the points here? Brighton have shown a lot of fight over recent weeks, and they've dug in to claim many precious points, and it's full credit to Chris Hughton, who I believe is very underrated, and his achievements at the club have gone slightly underappreciated this season. As for Palace, very good performance at the weekend and result obviously to boot to go with it. But they're clearly lacking a clinical finisher up front. They don't have a guy that can continuously find the back of the net week in, week out. My prediction for this game is going to be 1-1. This game could go either way, and that's why I'm going to call it straight down the middle with a draw, and 1-1 is going to be my scoreline. Wilfried Zaha to score for Palace. As for Brighton, I'm thinking that either Shane Duffy or Lewis Dunk will score for them from a set piece. Bit of a throwing that out there, but I honestly do think that a set piece goal will be Brighton's way of scoring in this game. And there you have it. That's your preview, all set and done for game 15 of the Premier League season. Hopefully it's going to be just as good, interesting and fun to watch as it was over the previous weekend. Guys, thanks for watching and listening. If you have any thoughts or opinions on any of the games, teams, players, predictions yourselves, that kind of thing, I'd love to hear them and read them in the comment section below. That'd be great. Otherwise, once again, thank you for watching and listening. If you liked the video, hit the like button on the way out. If you enjoyed the video that much and want to subscribe because either you're new or want to see more content like this, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. Otherwise, I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League preview video, and I will see you all again soon in another video.